Hi everybody, this is Jack R., Raconter 1, and I thought I'd bring you up to date on the current situation regarding Mark and the Fiance visa. Things are progressing well as far as the visa goes. I submitted it in the beginning of January, and no news is good news. If you don't hear anything, that's a good sign, because if there were a glaring problem, something that had been neglected or omitted, I would have heard. So that's good. It's been transferred to California for processing there. Originally went to Dallas, Texas. So things are going well there. However, there was something that I could see when I was visiting Mark in November that I knew needed attention. And he has some missing teeth. And he told me that he had been counseled by a dentist that he would need to have some extracted, and that it would wait. He felt he should wait until the end of his schooling, which was be the end of March. However, I didn't like the sound of that, because, as we know, if those teeth were infected, there could be a serious health problem with that infection. It's been known that tooth infection has spread to the lining of the heart and caused death. So that was not really going to happen on my watch. So I endeavored to figure out how we could take care of that. And I knew dental care in the Philippines is a lot less expensive than it is here. So that was another reason to move quickly on getting some care for Mark. So that's what we did. And originally thought that maybe 3 teeth would be involved. Well, it turns out that 7 teeth were involved. So, and Mark had to go to a dental clinic that involved a flight to get there. So originally I thought $1,000 will do this, but no. It turned out to be much more than that. I think this is probably quite usual when you get into medical problems, but turns out that there are 7 extractions. Well, that's one thing. But then there was some bone grafting that had to be done in the lower jaw. Okay, we add that to it. Now we have a situation where there are some fillings and 9 crowns. And crowns, as we know, can be quite expensive. I wouldn't even want to touch that here in the United States. But in the Philippines, it's not so bad. So to make a long story short, I have contributed a little over $1,000 towards Mark's dental care. And that includes the extractions, the bone grafting, the fillings, and temporary crowns. However, that leaves the permanent crowns unanswered, and a partial that will cover the space of the missing teeth. Now, this gets a little more complex. I priced all these things out, and it turns out that the crowns can vary in price all the way from $2,000 for all the crowns at the cheapest crowns available, and that's for all 9, $2,000, up to about $4,800 for the more expensive crown material. And I gather that more expensive crown material doesn't have metal in it; it's all ceramic. So that's quite a wide range of cost there. Partial wouldn't be too much, probably under $1,000, and so that remains not done. Now, in addition, we found that Mark has a swelling in the lower jaw here, an osteoma. He just had a medical evaluation about that, and that involves a 2 to 3 day stay in the hospital and about $1,900, and that includes the hospital and medication and the surgeon's fees. So that's roughly another, it's another $1,900. So altogether, we're missing about $7,000. And that should take care of everything that I know of that is medically good to get done now at this point. I'm glad we've done as much as we have. But now I have to tell you about my financial situation. That has to do with the immigration and the visa application. When you apply for this Fiance visa, they take a look at the sponsor, and that's me, their financial situation. They look at their savings accounts. They look at if they own the house. They look at the assets that they have, any kind of assets. Now, cars only count like 25% of their value because they're not really liquid assets. I mean, you can't really get rid of a car all that quickly. And so when they're looking at the overall financial situation of the sponsor, well, $3,000 out of the savings, and that's not all I've spent too. I've spent some more to help Mark out, and my savings is getting pretty low. And in fact, I'm concerned that if it gets any lower, number one, it's not going to be there. And number two, it's not going to bode well for Mark being able to come here. Because they're going to take a look at that and say, well, this Jack, he's not going to be able to support Mark. Mark can't work here until he gets either a work permit or a green card. That doesn't happen until about at least 6 months after marriage, and possibly even up to possibly a year before you get the green card. So, that could be a very embarrassing situation. Another embarrassing situation could be that they give him the visa, he'd get here, then they'd take another look at my financial situation and say, well, guess what, Mark? You can't stay. Now, you two are married, but I'm sorry, Mark, you got to go back to the Philippines. So now that would be what kind of situation would that be? So that leaves me to the possible solution to the situation, but it will depend on the generosity of my viewers. And one of the channels I subscribe to, and in fact 2 of them, they have made use of a website called GoFundMe, F-U-N-D, GoFundMe. And the purpose of that website is to allow citizens of the United States to lay bare their financial needs, whatever they might be, the reason for them, why are they asking for help, and to get some funds from whoever decides that they would like to donate. So I have set up an account, and I will give you the link to it. And I would ask you if you would like to contribute. I'd be so appreciative, and I know Mark would be too. And but there's no pressure here. But if you feel like you'd like to help out, I would be very happy if you could. And so that's the situation. Give you the link. You go to the website, take a look at it. I spell out the situations. I have a couple of receipts that I have put up on there, the things that I've already paid for. In fact, I have a copy of that right here. Find out whether this is going to take too well on the here are 2 of the receipts from the clinic that I received already that I've given money to Mark to pay for. So at any rate, that's what I'm asking. If you can help, I'd appreciate it. And so we'll just have to see what happens. So thanks again for listening. I sure do appreciate all your support. I appreciate the support that you've given me in checking my videos. And I think you know that I am honest and above board. So, this is a legitimate thing. And yet I know you have to be very careful about situations involving the possible getting funds for illegal purposes or things like that. Trust me, this is for a legitimate cause, and Mark has already had work done, so there's no question about it. So thank you for your support, and I'll talk to you again. And by the way, I'll give you occasional updates on the status. And again, you can take a look at the page and see how much has been contributed, if anything, hopefully. So take care and bye-bye.